are expressing their dissatisfaction for you. That's why we're recalling him. He's not the only one. Gavin Newsom, as well as City Councilman Mike Bonin, now facing a growing recall effort. And certainly his behavior in reaction to the horrific fire in the Palisades will not do much for his cause. Joining us right now is Jessica Rogers. She's the president of the Palisades Residents Association. And Ms. Rogers, first of all, are you safe? Are your neighbors safe? What are things looking like right now in the Palisades? We've been praying for you over the last couple of days.
Thank you so much, Larry. That means a lot. We are safe, and neighbors are okay. We're starting to regain our sleep, and the fire is slowly dying down. So thank you for asking. It means a lot.
It's horrific, and it's terrifying, and you're unnerved. I remember the horrific Laguna fires. My parents and I had to, I was an adult, but I helped my parents evacuate their home, and you're living elsewhere for several days, and you have no idea what's going on with your home. And what's most frustrating, and that was a naturally caused fire, lightning struck in the Laguna Canyon, and of course the wind swept through. It happens sometimes in Southern California. We get that. But Jessica Rogers, some of these fires are preventable. And this fire that you're dealing with right now was preventable. It was arson, and it was set by one of the criminal vagrants, the homeless, the unhoused, we're told by our elected officials. And I'm sorry, it shouldn't have happened. And we need to do something, don't we?
Absolutely. We're dealing with a major crisis. You know, Los Angeles is now known for it's the homeless city. Yeah. It is, and we're dealing with a major crisis, and our city has not been able to do anything about it, and in no time frame. They say it's an emergency, and now they're, creating feasible studies to decide whether or not to put them in encampments at the beach.
Right. We last had you on to talk about that and about this horrible idea to move them to the beach right in your neighborhood. And one of the things we talked about was the fact that we know that almost on a nightly basis in Venice Beach, there are fires. Some of those fires have spread and taken down buildings. We projected this last time we spoke, and now here we are. It's despicable.
And sadly, the LA Fire Department issued some studies saying that over the large majority of all fires that they deal with are homeless related.
Yep. So it's fair to say, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but this is a man-made disaster. Yes, by Ramon Santos Rodriguez, the suspect in this fire, but also by elected officials who have allowed the conditions to continue for this to happen.
What I will say is that we have a system that's clearly broken. You now have a federal judge who's trying to step in and help the situation, and it still hasn't been resolved.
There was a dust-up in the city council yesterday amongst a couple of the elected officials, and there was, a mention of the fact that this is, yet again, a person living, a homeless person living in a criminal way as a vagrant in Topanga Canyon. He was the suspect. And Mike Bonin, your city councilman, I want to read you his quote because he recognizes that there are very progressive, open-minded, liberal Democrats who live in Pacific Palisades, and he is trying to push buttons to try to engender some kind of shame for people who are angry at this situation that he's created. Here's his quote. The arson suspect's housing status is no more relevant than his race, his religion, or his sexual orientation. In other words, if you point out the fact that it's a homeless person who has set these fires, and as you just said, Jessica Rogers, is in keeping with the study of the Los Angeles Fire Department that this is a common occurrence, then you're a racist, sexist, homophobe. It's the same thing.
Listen, I don't have time for political verbiage. I have zero interest in it. What I have interest in is in the safety of our residents, our community, and the homeless. That's what I'm interested in. We have a crisis. We're living in a war zone. Nobody's safe. The homeless aren't safe. The residents aren't safe. Our city isn't safe. Our economy isn't safe. We're in a major crisis here. And it's not about who says what, or if you say it this way, or if you say it on this day, or this time, or if it's an emergency shelter, if it's a homeless encampment. Let's cut it. Let's get straight to it. We need help here in the city of Los Angeles, and we need help now. Our federal judge needs help. The situation isn't getting better, and our hills are burning down. Last year, California, we watched California burn to the ground. I'm an avid hiker. I'm a nature girl. This is a nightmare. We need the environmentalists from all over this country to step in and help us. We have a major issue on our hands.
That is so well said and so clear and so passionate. Why can't your own elected official put it that way? You almost feel like Mike Bonin's priorities are not to solve the problem or solve the crisis. It's to figure out some sort of political argument to make. It's got to be frustrating.
Listen, all of this is extremely frustrating. What I don't understand is we keep calling on just Mike Bonin. This isn't a Mike Bonin issue. This is an LA City issue. Every single councilman in all of Los Angeles needs to have a hand in this, including the mayor, including every single politician in the state of California.
Yes.
And let me even increase it to tell you that where is our government when one of the largest economies in the world is falling apart?
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with anything you said. You're absolutely, I mean, I raise him because he is your direct elected official and seems to continue to push these policies. But you're absolutely right. This is a failure of the city, the county, the state. And yeah, absolutely, the federal government should be involved at this point in putting pressure on you, because this is, Californians deserve better. I guess that's the point. And I'm just wondering what the climate is like as are you, first of all, are you all back in your homes yet, or have you been able to get back?
We did. My ex and my children were with my ex this weekend, and they were literally on the edge of the hillside with the fires. My daughter was terrified. They did evacuate one night just to be sure that they were safe. They didn't sleep for 2 days because the helicopters were overhead. It was very unnerving, very, very frightening. You know, we're used to every once in a while have to deal with fires. We have homeless encampment fires here regularly. Yep. Usually they're very small. We take care of them very quickly. We had the Skirball fire a few years ago, and that was terrifying for our entire community. All of the Pacific Palisades was packed up and ready to go, and most of us did actually evacuate. So we are used to having to deal with fires. The Pacific Palisades is nestled right up into the Santa Monica Mountains. Mm-hmm. So we're aware of the risk of living in this kind of environment. We also really want to protect it for everybody.
Of course. And you're so right to point out the fact that this is an environmental danger at multiple levels. I mean, all the people who are driving Teslas right now to reduce their carbon emissions in the Palisades, I mean, take a look at all the carbon emissions that just got burnt over the last several days. I mean, it's terrific, and you can't breathe, you can't hike because of how nasty it is. Are you working by any chance with any of the, there is safety in numbers. There you can reach a critical mass in politics. And I've spoken to you, representing the Palisades Residents Association. I've spoken to the Mar Vista Neighborhood Council. I've spoken to the Venice Beach Neighborhood Council. You all have the same complaints. You all have the same issues. Is there a way for you guys to form a coalition here and reach critical mass so you're not just these little satellites for various neighborhoods that are complaining?
I've spoken to many people from all over the district. We're now highly connected and in many different ways.
Oh, good.
There are those who are political. There are those who are non-political. Everybody's speaking to each other. We're highly organized. And for the same purpose. We all want to live a good quality of life and assure that we're all protected and safe. And it absolutely revolves around this major homeless crisis that we're dealing with. We're not safe. We no longer have safety, and the laws aren't protecting us.
What do you say to people, and I know that they're out there, and I want to give you the chance to respond. What do you say to people who are like, oh, sure, Jessica Rogers, she's got her beautiful, very expensive mansion in the Pacific Palisades, and all she's doing here is saying, not in my backyard. This is a NIMBY thing. Go ahead and build go ahead and respond.
So if we're going to play that silly game, I'll play a silly game right back. It's yes in their backyard. How about that? I mean, it's silly. It's nonsense. It's a complete waste of our energy. We're all human. We're all in this together. A homeless person could stab somebody in a nice neighborhood just as much as they could stab somebody in a low-income neighborhood. Come on now. This is a crisis for everybody. Everybody is affected. Nobody is immune to this. We need to stop this ridiculous game of name calling and unite and stop
That's
this.
Right.
This is ridiculous.
You're so right. You know, people are constantly talking about unity and figuring out what we all have in common and how we can build together. This is it. As Californians, this is I have not found hardly anybody, unless they're actually part of the paid activist or industrial homeless government bureaucracy that wants to keep the status quo. Everybody else, we all agree this is what we can unite behind. And I'm so glad you put it that way, because we got to just stop the finger pointing and solve the problem. And hopefully we can do that. What do you suggest people do if they, first of all, obviously, if they live in the Palisades, how can they be in touch if they're not involved already? What's the best thing for them to do?
Find me at palisadesresidence.com, and it's residence, ENTS.com.
Okay, with ENTS, with the S at the end. And then what about outside of Palisades? Because there are people who want to be active, they want to work, they want to be a part of this solution as well. And this is a grassroots movement. This is community organizing right here. And this is, I truly believe, neighborhood by neighborhood, working together. It's the only way you get your voice heard. What do you suggest they do?
Reach me and I'll tell them exactly what to do.
All right, so even if you don't live in the Palisades, you reach out to Jessica
Even
Rogers.
if you don't live in the Palisades,
there you go. See
like
there?
I said.
we're all in the Palisades. We're all together with you. All right,
We are together, all of us.
Absolutely.
Yes.
PalisadesResidence.com. Jessica Rogers, she's a very dynamic human being. I've been admiring a lot of your media appearances and your passion on this, and I think you have a great heart. And you're coming from the right place. And if you don't live in the Palisades, she will give you the tools. She will give you advice on how you can work within your neighborhood and join this movement so we can finally make a difference. I'm so happy that you joined us again. And please give our best to all of your neighbors. And hopefully this is the last time we have to have this conversation.
Thank you, Larry. Again, it really, really touches my heart. It means a lot. Thank you.
It is the Larry O'Connor Show right here on AM 790 KBOA.